Welcome back to another video. I'm Hale the Blacksmith. If you're new to my channel, I make crazy content. Today, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a kunai from Naruto. Let's get started. Alright, so we got some scrap metal here. It's just some mild steel, but that's going to be perfectly fine for what we're going to do. We're going to get in the forge and start heating it up. So, now that the kunai is hot, I'm simply just driving down the blade, making sure I knock in the corners so that there's no cracking forming. By elevating the metal on a slight angle and hammering down on a similar angle, you can create that point shape. So, just like that, we have a point. Now we need to start bringing it back because our blade is going to be about 4 inches long. So, the kunai was originally a peasant's gardening tool. However, it quickly adapted into a versatile weapon. So, we're going to recreate this throwing knife from Naruto / actually history. So, let's notch in where our handle's going to go and move on from there. By using the inside edge of the anvil, I was able to transition the blade into the handle. It matches the kunai design, which is perfect. However, it is quite thick and we need to draw that down so that the balance is perfect. But that means some forging. So let's get back to it. By using the horn, we can draw out the handle a lot faster than just hammering flat, and it gives us that nice rounded transition. However, it's still thick, so let's keep going. We've got the handle forged out now using the horn of the anvil to draw out the material. Our next step is to be beveling the blade and getting it refined. So let's get it back in the forge and do that. Beveling the blade can often be a tricky step, especially when you're doing a double-sided knife like this. To acquire accurate bevels, you need to maintain a similar angle on your piece by elevating it slightly and angling your hammer to match that angle. Repeating the exact same angle on all 4 sides will create that bevel you're looking for. However, it does take time and practice. you're beveling, your point is going to get distorted. You can grind it. However, I prefer forging it more to shape. This will distort your bevels, so you're also going to have to fix them. Now, remember, the kunai is originally a garden tool, so the bevels don't actually need to come down to an edge, and personally, I'm not even going to grind mine sharp. All it needs is a point for digging and throwing. So, we're going to now move on to a little extra flair, the reverse beveling down at the choil here. This is up to you if you want to try this. It's a little trickier than just doing the bevel up here. It's doing it reversed on the bottom down at the choil in this section here. So, let's give it a shot and see how it goes. This bit of aesthetic isn't all that necessary to do while forging. You can always grind it in. It just helps transition the handle to the blade so you're not cutting up yourself while you're throwing it or working with it. Now that the blade is fully forged, we can move on to the bottom where the hole is going to go. We're going to punch it out. You can drill it. However, because I'm a blacksmith and I feel like it, I'm going to punch it out by hand. So, let's do it. With the bottom being so thick, I'm going to first forge it down a little flatter. And just like that, we have our material spread out. Let's punch it. Our first step is going to be center punching where we want our hole to be, which is right there. Taking our actual hole punch, we can find the center mark and start drifting this through. The material is quite thin, so it'll actually be relatively easy to go through. And just like that, we have ourselves a drifted hole. All right, get this back in and start drifting it all the way through. Alright, so now that the hole can fit on the horn, we're going to chop it off and start forging out this eye. Now that the blade is cut off, we can clip off these ears and then forge out the ring or eye or whatever you want to call this. When it comes to forging the ring, it's very finicky and it's super easy to get it all lopsided. So you have to be very precise and accurate with your hitting, making sure you hit all the way around, knocking down all the high spots. We also don't want to make our ring too big because there's no real way of shrinking it down easily. So you got to be very careful and accurate. And I'm really actually liking the size of this ring, so I'm going to do a little more work to clean up the circumference or the circularness of this shape. And once I have that, I'm going to knock down the corners, and then our forging will be pretty much done. Liking the look of this kunai. I think my touch mark might make it a little better, but then after that, we're going to call the forging process completed. With a little bit of cleanup grinding, this knife will be done. Alright, so the blade is fully forged. I just want to grind the tip a little sharper so that it can penetrate a lot better. Other than that, I don't think I'm going to do much grinding because this is looking quite nice. I'm going to blacken it up once it's ground and then do a white handle wrap just to make it match the Naruto aesthetic, I guess. Alright, so this is a peasant's tool. It's a kunai, nothing special. However, if you want to spend more time on it, you can clean it up and make it look really pretty. For me, I'm quite pleased with the look of it. I got some nice forged bevels, and it's pointy now, so it'll be good for throwing and digging. I'm going to blacken this thing up and add a white leather wrap to the handle, and then we're going to test it out. So what I'm using is permablack or permablue, sorry. It's very handy in darkening up material. And once it's black, I will dip it in some water to neutralize the acid. So I got myself some white leather, which I'm going to use as the handle wrap. So we're just going to snip a bit here, get some super glue, and adding a bit of glue as I go. Our final step is adding linseed oil. This will darken the blade a little more and keep it protected from rust. So, I do recognize this isn't one of my crazy elaborate builds, but don't worry, those are still coming. This, however, was a fun little project, and I hope you learned a lot and maybe can perhaps make one yourself. If you did enjoy the video, consider liking and subscribing. It helps a lot. But I want to throw this thing around, and I'm sure you guys want to see a nice close-up of it. So let's get to that. But as always, thank you for watching, and God bless.